Is Maria the victim or the crime? Is Alec back? Is Sheriff Cable no good? Is it you, baby, or just a brilliant disguise?
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I was going to give you the floor. It's all you.
Well, hey, we are. It's good to be back. I'm coming in hot, you might say, because I've been gone for a while. Mm-hmm. And I've been watching Swamp Thing. I've been watching the shows, but my travel and schedule has not allowed me to be here with y'all, or y'all, or everybody out here talking about Swamp Thing. I know it's a tough subject because the more episodes that go, the more people like it, the more sad they get that this is a lame duck show. Yeah. Welcome, of course, to the Swamp Thing After Show on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Adam Gertler, and I am so honored and proud to be joined by Anais Lucia and Jeff Williams. Anais, DC fan, followed by Zack Snyder, famously on Twitter.
Vero. It's on Vero.
On Vero, which is his thing. He's not, his Vero stuff gets retweeted, but his real thing is the Vero. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. A lot of people talking about this Snyder Cut. Keep seeing new pictures. There was some new Cyborg stuff I saw this week. Yeah. Some new Batman image this week. It's like there really is a whole movie out there.
Zack is teasing us with posting all these unreleased images.
Do you want it? Do you want the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of you guys may know I was the person that planned the sign of people. That was me. I planned it. So, I do want it.
What do you mean you planned it?
Like, if last January, a bunch of us took a picture in front of WB's with a big sign.
Oh, yes, okay.
And that was me. I planned that, so. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We're going to talk about some other new developments within Warner Brothers toward the end of the show, and what you're talking about may become relevant. This might actually happen. Jeff Williams, I know you're a Flash guy.
Big time.
So the Flash movie is ironically stumbling to get out of the gate. But there was some major news this week or last week about Andy Muschietti possibly taking on the role of director, obviously coming off the biggest hit of a Stephen King blockbuster of all time, It Too, about to come out. What do you think about the possibility of a Flash movie? Do you see it happening right now, or are you excited about this guy being at the helm?
I'm cautiously optimistic because it's been so long since we've heard news. I've heard rumors that they're changing characters, they're changing scripts, they're doing all this other stuff. So to hear there's at least rumors of good things happening, cautiously optimistic, but I definitely want a movie to happen.
Yeah, and if it does happen, do you want Ezra Miller, or do you think they should do Wally West, or do you think
if they're recasting Batman, I'm down to recast the Flash because I was always wanting Grant Gustin to do it anyways, even though just because I liked him in a TV show.
Right.
But I mean, if Ezra Miller stays, I'm down with that. I think they'd have to do Flashpoint at this point just to have a different Batman. So I'm very interested to see how that one's going to work out.
It would be interesting. I've always said there's no way Grant Gustin should be the Flash in a movie, but I did hear that they're going to end it after next season. So multiverses, that's what I heard. That's what I'm hearing. Anyway, I don't know. Do you have an opinion about that before we talk Swamp Thing?
I love Flashpoint. I love both Ezra and Grant, so I'll be happy with it.
So would you want to see a Flashpoint movie? Do you think that would be a cool way to go?
Ever since I read that comic, I'm like, this needs to be a movie. And the animated film is that one and Under the Red Hood are my two favorite DC animated films.
Both were very cinematic. Mm-hmm. But we're here to talk about Swamp Thing. So, episode 7, Brilliant Disguise, named after the Bruce Springsteen song, of course. So far, you guys are super into the show, right? You're really happy. We ended the last episode on a cliffhanger. There was Alec popped a flower out of his hand, and Abbi was like, "What's that?" And he's like, I don't know, which is great. I love how Swampy is really kind of just learning everything as we are. What did you think when you saw Alec, and then to bring it right into the beginning of this episode, you see Alec, Andy Bean, right? Andy Bean, is that his name?
Yes.
And Abbi, Crystal Reed sharing a scene together.
I was happy because I had said, I think the first after show was on, I think for episode 2, that I really liked Andy Bean. So I'm like, yay, we get a whole episode with more Andy Bean. So I was very happy. I'll call him the Beanmeister.
That's okay. I think he goes by the Beanmeister.
The Beanmeister. And so I was just really happy that they had those moments together. But, I know it was only going to be temporary. So.
Mm-hmm.
I know I gotta pat you on the back on this one because you called it out. You called out you wanted the Alec and Abbi kiss. It happened. Even though we didn't see it, she called it out last week.
Yes.
She wanted to see a kiss because
psychic.
with Swamp Thing and Abbi
Yes.
and more like a Beauty and the Beast type
Which
deal.
I think is a famous.
I got
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast vibes.
Yes. Totally. Even though when they do kiss, he's Alec and not Swamp Thing. In the comic, I remember the embrace between Alec. I think it is in the Alan Moore run. There's that embrace between Abbi Arcane and Swamp Thing, and it is a little, it is a Beauty and the Beast moment for sure.
Yeah, so I had to shout her out on that one. Right when I saw it, I was like, yes, we got to talk about that. But yeah, the whole episode in general was great. Right when I realized that it was episode 7, kind of put a bummer because we know, right, as of right now,
3 more hours.
3 more hours.
As of right now. Look at you in denial.
Hashtag save Swamp Thing.
And I thought it was kind of nice they had a couple scenes in the swamp like during the day, and I was like, okay, this is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, so what did you think of that? I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting. We learned that Alec, he's figuring out he speaks to the trees. During that opening scene is the first time we're introduced to the idea of the rot and the green, right, as these two potential forces. So what did you think when you heard the rot for the first time?
I thought it was cool how they introduced it and how they showed it throughout the episode. And then when it's kind of funny how we start to see the swamp at the daytime, because it's like the contrast between day and night could be the same contrast between the dark and then the green as well. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I don't know if they did it in this episode for that reason, but that's how I kind of took it. And just the whole thing was a cool concept, and I liked how they used it throughout the episode.
Yeah, and I just like seeing, both Abbi and Alec kind of discovering what his abilities are and everything
together.
So.
Because later on in the episode, she's telling him how to use his abilities, which is great. I like that it's and I like that like the Phantom Stranger is like, you need to look into the green, and he's like, okay. He's slowly kind of coming to terms with who he is. You mentioned the daytime swamp scene. So what did you think of the anachronism of seeing like all these flowers in the swamp, and Abby's like, wow, I didn't know this could happen. He's like, well, this is kind of not reality exactly. So what did you think of that?
I was just enjoying it just because, like, as a girl, I don't know, it's just like I felt like it was like their first date kind of.
It was like, the date they never got to have. That was what was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's just beautiful flowers, daytime, and them spending time together. So it just made me happy, but I know it wasn't gonna last forever, unfortunately. But at least they had it, and then they had the kiss. So
yeah, there was a lot of great moments. But when I saw that scene, I just assumed it was the good side. Like I stated earlier, I think it was like between the good and the dark, because I don't know if it was actually real. He might have just been kind of making that happen the same way he makes his face change to Abbi.
Right.
So it might be that his power's doing that. But either way, I thought it was a cool way to see it.
So in the episode, we're cutting away, obviously, to the swamp and to Marie, and we see Maria Sunderland, good old Dixie Queen, making pie for Nathan Ellery of The Collective. All of a sudden, what are you thinking? Like, because before she's like, no, you can't have my money to fund this guy's research. You just want my money. And now she's all happy-go-lucky, and this dude from The Collective's coming over to sell Woodrow's research. What are you thinking of? Where do you think Maria's mind is at in that scene when she's just like preparing for this dinner?
Well, I mean, I know she was up to something because of the shots like to the knife. I'm like, is she gonna like stab Avery right now at the beginning? I'm like, okay, this is like.
Anais, you know how to read your horror. Yeah. you know that you pick up on the cues that are like tells.
And then during the dinner, the way she was looking at Nathan, I thought maybe she had like poisoned the pie. I was like, was she trying to kill him? I don't know. That's just where my mind is, and I didn't know she was trying to get rid of. I didn't think she was gonna try to get rid of Avery in that way, but it was just like crazy. Just everything with her, I'm just like, dang girl.
Yeah,
I definitely did not see that twist coming.
So they're, I mean, in the beginning of the episode, she's making this pie. Sheriff Cable comes to get Avery, to basically tell Avery, hey, Alec Holland is still alive, and you gotta help me kill him right now before your dinner party. So then they go off. And so what are you thinking at that point? Because we know that Sheriff Cable and Sunderland, Avery Sunderland, have had this affair for like 20 plus years. So do you think they're just going to get busy in the swamp, or?
No, I really thought they were going, I totally bought that. I thought they were going to go kill Alec.
Yeah, she brings the shotgun and everything.
When I saw that, I thought the same thing. I believed her for the whole time. Right when he switches it and pulls the gun on her, that's when I started to feel like there has to be some other way. He's not just gonna kill her. So I assumed that Matt was gonna be in the woods as soon as he pulled the gun on.
How did you know? What made you think Matt was gonna be in the woods?
When Avery pulled the gun on Maria, on Sheriff.
On
Lucilia?
Lucilia.
I always butcher her name.
Yeah, I always call her Lucilla. It's Lucilia.
Lucilia.
It's almost like my name.
It kind of it does remind me of your name.
Lucilia, okay.
And then that when I saw that, I was like, "There's no way he's just gonna."
She's got 2 eyes. You got 2 eyes. Mm-hmm. You're two girls with 2 eyes in your names. It's uncommon.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of names with 2 eyes.
I can't think of any other ones right now besides Lucilia and Anais.
There's gonna be a lot of people in the comments like, actually, there's this and that and that. And I'm like, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Don't send me Patricia, okay? That doesn't count. They're way too far apart.
Yeah, that whole scene was just crazy with like the twists. Like, it's like you think they're gonna go kill Alec, and then Avery turns the gun on Lucilia, and then Matt, and then Joker smile.
But before that, we find out, we find out that, the sheriff and Cable, they're all in on this. They were supposed to kill Alec, and the reason Alec, and she's like, why did you have to kill him anyway? He's like, he was basically too good at his job, which I guess we kind of always suspected, right? Was the reason he had to die. Like, he wasn't supposed to find anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was just interesting to see how the thing worked out because, like I said, I was definitely not seeing Matt coming over there until he switched the gun on her. Avery switched the gun on her, and there was no other option. That was my thinking. Mm-hmm. So when he popped over, I was like, okay, that's cool. And then like when you see him just knock him out, I was like, there's no way he's dying. Because if you don't, if you don't kill a bad guy point blank the first time, then
if you're dragging it out,
he's living somehow.
So speaking of bad guys going on, the rot is expanding. We cut back to the swamp, and the garden ends, and then the rot comes, gets Abbi. And she's like instantly sick. The date ends badly. It's like you go out on that first date and you eat like some bad fish or something, and instead of getting that first kiss, you're like puking in the corner, and then like the other person has to take care of that other person.
But
that's how this
it
date
helps
ends.
bring them together. Because when someone is going through a bad situation, that's how you know if they actually care about you. So if they take care of you.
On my next date, I should get food poisoning and hope for the best.
You guys are very romantic. The both of you. I'm like, yeah, that is true. That is true. If you like bail off the date, that's not going to be good. Yeah. No, you want to stick it through. Yeah. If somebody throws up on the date, stick it through.
It makes me like Alec more. I'm like, oh, he cares. Well, I mean, I kind of already knew he cared, but
he's a gentleman.
Yes.
So it's crazy that Avery is onto Sheriff's, Cable's duplicitous plan. He knows she's going to kill him, and then that's when he gets bonked out. Alec and Abbi in the lab, and he's like, I don't know how to do this. He doesn't know what to do. And then she tells him to summon the Chinese lanterns. Mm-hmm. So talk about that.
I thought that was just a beautiful moment because it was just like, he didn't really believe that he could do this, and she's like, she believed in him, and that helped him summon these Chinese lanterns. So I thought that was really nice because if she didn't believe in him, he might not have done it. So I just was so happy.
See, I was frustrated. I was wondering why it was taking so long. I'm like, you've done all these things knowing it's because of your emotions, and your emotions are rushing right now. Why don't you just try to do something?
Yeah.
But
he's new to it. It's his first day.
Early on he brought fruit, though. He did have Postmates deliver fruit early on, or Swamp Mates, rather.
It's like he had all that, knew what kind of fruit and everything was on there.
Guavas, mangoes.
He had everything.
I'll have the plums.
And then when she's in trouble, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? It's like, nah. That's why I was frustrated in that moment. I was like, dude, you gotta do something.
Oh.
So she's like, the Chinese lantern is a kind of plant that has antiseptic properties, so she goes to get it. Then we cut back to the boat, and Avery is coming to, and he pulls the classic bad guy move. Matt, I'm your father.
Oh gosh.
Did not see that coming, and I don't understand that, and I don't want to blame the casting.
Well, when a sheriff likes an Avery very much, Jeff, and they go to the swamp together.
Okay.
We'll finish after the show.
No, but and realistically, I'm not going after the casting or anything, but he's a darker skinned guy, so I just didn't understand if he was lying or if this was a lie. The
Right.
actor is a darker skinned guy, and like
I see what you're
neither
saying.
of the parents are darker skinned. And I just didn't know. I was like, maybe he's lying, just trying to piss him off.
Yeah,
And that was just my mindset. I mean,
Yeah, I felt like
Yeah.
he was lying too, and I would even if it was the truth,
That really is
still
true. Like,
thought-
how does that work?
I still thought that
How do
was,
they make that dude?
I was like, I don't know about that. I don't believe that one.
even though that was the truth, I still thought it was just like. Ugh, I was just disgusted
Well, she did
with
say-
him because I'm like, oh, so you only care about being his dad when he's about to kill you. When it's convenient for you,
He's my son, too.
Then you want to be, I'm your dad. Okay, whatever. No, like,
See, I think
sorry.
it was true. I don't think she's lying, but like, yeah, he does look like.
I mean, in the show, I feel like he had to been telling the truth because the way she reacted.
Yeah, and she said I made a mistake.
So it's like that's pretty much admitting fault right there. So yeah, and that's the best move you could pull because all that did was cause a distraction, make them fight, and then you see him take advantage and get out of the predicament, but still with a couple bullet holes.
If I was mad, I still would have killed him because I'm like, hey, well, oh yeah, now you want to bring up that you're my dad? Okay, you're still a jerk father.
But it distracts him enough for him to stab him. Avery stabs Matt, and then Lucia shoots Avery in the legs. He goes into the swamp. Obviously, we don't see any big blood spatter or
Yeah,
anything,
so
and she's
he
shooting
didn't-
at the water.
He didn't die.
And he said, why is that true?
Because you didn't see him actually die. And then he goes in the water, like anything can happen. So, we've seen how many movies and TV shows where someone falls in the water, they could swim,
Including this show,
I
too,
was
right?
like,
exactly.
that, and you see him like come back and like not walk up, but like crawl up back at the swamp at the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah, at the very end, yeah.
But like we said before, if you don't see the bad guy die, and if you don't shoot him at first, he's living somehow.
Yeah.
You always got to see the body. Meanwhile, Alec, the Chinese lanterns aren't working. There's a war going on inside Abbi Arcane, and then Alec comes up with the idea. He's like, well, there's over 200 species of flora living within your body. I'm going to get those excited. It's kind of like Magneto accessing the iron in somebody's blood and using that. He's accessing the flora. So I thought that was some pretty cool Swamp Thing powers.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool to see. I'm not gonna lie though, when he was doing it, I was like, she's screaming, but I feel like that would be ticklish. But
Wait, if all your flora started acting?
no, I mean just the way that he had like his
on
like
her stomach.
like his tentacles or not. He had like his hands like on her stomach and like trying to like get the
You
trying
think
to help
she'd
her.
have
It was a
time to
little
be
bit
tickled
funny.
while
No.
she's writhing in agony?
This is me watching it thinking that would be ticklish. But no, I thought it was a cool scene because he actually takes initiative and tries to help her out, and I think that's a cool scene. And I'm just happy that she was alive because they kind of left us on a cliffhanger for a quick second because they went back and showed that she's alive. But like you just see, he's like Abbi, and then she like goes to sleep.
So
that was
after all
kinda-
of this, hopefully he'll be just more confident and believe in his powers more. So,
Yeah. Oh, he's
yeah.
definitely learning to use them more. So we cut back because you're right. We are in a cliffhanger. We cut back to dinner where we see Avery's not showing up. Maria's like apologizing. This guy from the collective is PO'd that Avery pulled all the major strings. And Avery's already a kind of big dog in a small town, but he pulled all these strings to get this dinner. So Woodrow's at the dinner. Woodrow's wife's at the dinner. Maria Sunderland's at the dinner. Ellery's at the dinner, and then she knows what the Mod 4 project is. All of a sudden, she can bake this pecan pie and knows what's the score.
First off, that was crazy. But before that, I wrote
Local
down a question.
pecans.
I wrote down a question. Is she even on meds?
No way.
That's because like
I thought she was.
She took the meds to make her chill, and I'm like, okay, so she's chill. Then they sell the knife, and I noticed that as well, and I'm like, all right, maybe she's not chill. And then like to see at the end, I was like, is she even is she even using the meds, or like
Here's a question:
was she lying the
where did
whole
the little
time?
girl go? Where did the little
That's what
blonde
I was
girl go?
wondering too. I'm like, where is she?
Did they just see? And this is what sucks about the show because like she was seeing the little girl that was totally possessed from her daughter, and we were to understand that she really was possessed because she came out to several people.
Yeah.
This is what infuriates me about the show. If that girl was not there, like, did they just? Is that one of the things that they had to cut because the show got cut down to 10 episodes? And I don't know if it is or not, but I hate that that's always in the back of my mind with this show.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, oh,
crazy.
did they pull a thread out because we know they have to come to a conclusion by 10.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be 13. So a lot of stuff had to be pulled out.
Yeah, so it's like making you second guess every little thing that
In a way,
is
I
like-
don't want to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's not even like we're forcing it. It just happens because we know what's happening after the end. So it makes us question.
Do you have an opinion about that? Do you think the little girl is just? I mean, it seems so weird that she would not be.
I honestly forgot about it until you said that she wasn't.
No, I was like, what happened with her? Because that was a big thing. You know, she wanted her daughter to come back, and she did kind of, and now we hear nothing about her. It's like nothing.
It's
that
crazy.
Never happened. So I was just confused. Hopefully,
and we also know that they had to do reshoots to get to that 10. So we know that if there was stuff that could not be extricated, they went back and like shot around it.
Yeah, there's like some Zack Snyder cuts and stuff. Like we
It's
just need to see it.
very much kind of like that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was on the cutting room floor because some stuff maybe would have been not even gotten to until next season. So sorry to keep bringing it back to that, guys. I know, but we're all commiserating. We're a Swamp Thing support group as much as anything else.
Hashtag save Swamp Thing.
So, I mean, man, good for you. So, they have their kiss.
Yeah.
Spores or no, she kissed the Swamp Thing.
It's beautiful.
That was really beautiful.
Beauty and the Beast.
And so she's alive, and then we find out that Woodrow gets fully funded.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So does that mean she's
Yay
running?
for him.
So is she running it now? Is Maria running the show now?
Probably.
The whole plan was to take over the company.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, and that's what Lucia was like. At the end, Lucilia shows up with the stabbed Matt and says, "This is what happened," and then we find out twist, Cahootsville.
Like when she's like, "Why are you here?" and I'm like, "I don't know why she's there either." And then when you see like, "Oh, did you get it done?" I'm like, I had to pause the thing. I'm like, "Wait, what? Did you get it done?" Yeah. Like, I thought y'all weren't even talking terms. And then you see the doctor is like just cool. He's like, okay, yep, I'm doing this. So they got a lot of people in on it. So
yes.
Are there other people?
I don't know if Dr. Woodrow was in on it, though.
No, the doctor that was in there
fixing up Matt.
Oh, yeah. There
was a doctor. They didn't really not acknowledge him that much, but there was a doctor in there.
I remembered it that it was Maria that was sewing him up. But that makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, they say he's dead. There's no way he's dead, though. Yeah. Obviously, at this point, I mean, we know he's not at the end, but even when that's happening, you're like, come on, that is such a classic trope.
I just thought that was so... I guess sloppy I feel like Lucilia, if I was Lucilia, I would try to make sure he's freaking dead before I left the swamp. Like,
I mean,
I wouldn't
she
just
shot
assume,
at the water a couple times.
She is. I'm gonna give a hot take right here. Lucilia is a terrible sheriff. She is not a good police person.
I don't think that's a very cold take because I feel like we all agree on
Okay.
that. I was like, it's not that hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small town, Louisiana. She's the sheriff, and she's completely crooked. And even like when not being crooked, she's not very good at her murdering job either.
It's like, we're not gonna make my son a murderer. I'm gonna be a murderer, and then I'm not even gonna do well at murdering. Yeah. And it's like, you're really bad at your job.
Setting a bad example. So two really sad things happened at the end of this episode. I want to acknowledge. Did we know about Woodrow's wife's Alzheimer's up to this point?
Well, I feel like we knew something was up, but I don't think they had specified it was Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
I kind of thought it was.
I kind of thought it was as well.
Okay,
but yeah, they never like said the words Alzheimer's, but with this, when you see in that, you see it's getting worse, and that could push him to even be more of like the mad scientist type deal.
Man.
Well, yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. We see her demonstrate some pretty serious symptoms because she asks about the dinner, who was at the dinner. She didn't recognize the people at the dinner, but she's expressing like, "Oh, I was just quiet." Like, and that was really realistically done, which almost made it like really sad.
That was really sad. I thought, what's the actor's name? Keven
Durant.
Yeah, he was great.
He's super good.
Yeah.
He's gotten better and better.
I wanted to give him a hug, even though he's like not exactly like all good. I was just so like.
But it does two things for us. It does that great thing we love where it gives a villain a great motivation, right? He's like a Mr. Freeze character like
exactly.
this, right?
I was gonna say that,
he's motivated to save his wife, and you're right. It's going to drive him to be... I don't know if he's ever going to take the title Floronic Man, but he's going to be the Floronic Man.
They're just going to end it with that, like him about to become the Floronic Man, then, okay, there no more Swamp Thing. Sorry, guys.
And another person we didn't see Blue Devil at all in this
No,
episode.
it was mentioned, but we didn't see that at all. And I if that's dropped, I'll be pissed because we were just about getting good.
They put that in the tease, or not in like the previously on, and then they showed part of him, and then they didn't talk about it at all.
Well, they mentioned what makes you think you had good success.
Okay. Yeah.
So much of the dinner was built on the fact that they had this huge success, and Maria says, "Why did you say you had this huge success?" And that is all Blue Devil. So
Gotcha.
At the end, Swampy's like, he does that classic thing where he's like, "I gotta get up for work. You gotta go."
Yeah, this is.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't exactly like that. It was.
I'm sorry, I didn't make you all choked up about
She's
him.
like, no, he's not that mean. He's not. It was way
He's like,
sweeter.
I gotta go fight a war now, so you're gonna have to go home.
Sorry, I'm still recovering, but
It's okay. You can use it.
Yeah.
you know, it's like a lot of superheroes. They do the whole like, they need to protect the people they love. So sorry.
No, I know. On the same token, I definitely thought it was like his superhero moment. It was like, hey, it's dangerous. Let me do this. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm brought here for. This is my destiny, and that's what he uses.
He's coming to terms with it.
And he's
And
coming
it
to terms with
also
it.
reminded me again of Beauty and the Beast when he like kind of lets her leave the castle to go be with her dad and everything. I was like, oh, Beast moment.
Did you guys ever see the CBS Linda Hamilton Beauty and the Beast series?
Oh no, no.
Did not.
It's amazing. Ron Perlman is the Beast, and George R.R. Martin worked on that show.
Oh,
And I
okay.
used to love that show as a kid. It's if you want to take a deep cut, that's a great show, and it does have a lot of parallels with Swamp Thing. That's why it's relevant.
Okay.
So before the end of the episode, we find out Abbi is not listening to that BS, and she's going to Atlanta because she's got more samples and she wants to help fight the war. And then we also find out that, as you said, Joker Avery pops up out of the muck.
Please say write in the comments if you also got Joker vibes from that smile, that bloody smile.
Yeah, did you
because
get Joker vibes?
That was totally
I 100%
Joker vibes.
got Joker vibes when I saw that too.
I was like, dang, he looks a lot like the
Okay.
Joker right now.
Now, my question to you two, what do you think is going to happen with Avery? What state do you think he is? And what are we going to see from him in the next final 3 episodes?
I'm not gonna do specifics because I have that in my predictions.
Okay.
But he's gonna try and take what he was, get what he was taken from. I guess.
Okay.
He's gonna take back what he was taken from. I guess. I'm gonna just leave it as vague as that
Okay.
because I have specifics in my prediction.
All right. Is that something should we get to? I mean, is it?
But we got like yeah. It's up to you.
Okay. No. Well, you want to come back to
Yeah,
predictions?
we'll definitely come
Yeah.
back to it.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk about that at the end. In the meantime, I'd like to do our segment now. Of course, called The Bossness of It All. The Bossness of the Swamp. So, yes, The Bossness of It. You can play a little bit of that music in the background, too, if you want to play a little bit of that, Bruce. Okay, so the episode is called Brilliant Disguise, named after the Bruce Springsteen song. I want to ask you guys each, why do you think that was a relevant title for this episode?
Just because you see Matt in his real, or not Matt. I'm sorry.
Alec?
You see Alec in his real face and not his disguise, or maybe.
No,
is
Alec
it-
is a
I was
disguise.
gonna say,
Swamp
now-
Thing is his real.
I was like, now you don't know which one is a disguise. It just depends on to Abbi, Swamp Thing is a disguise. To Swamp Thing, maybe his Alec persona might be the disguise now. So
Classic superhero question,
Exactly.
right? Is Bruce Wayne the disguise and is Batman the man? Is Clark Kent
Yep.
the disguise or is he the true man?
Yeah, and then I was looking at the lyrics, and this one I thought is kind of like what Alec is thinking, you know, about like why Abbi likes him. The lyric is, "I just can't see what a woman like you is doing with me."
Oh,
I was like,
so beautiful.
it's like, you know, I look like this. Why would you want to be?
I
with
know.
Me, you know?
So, yes, obviously, I think it's interesting that the other side of it is the other brilliant disguise is worn by Maria Sunderland. In that we find out that she's not just the victim and wrong and going crazy and blaming Abbi for the wrong reasons. She's wearing a brilliant disguise, too. And I also thought that's mirrored beautifully in the rot versus the green and just a lot of wonderful parallels.
I need some answers with Maria, because was she seeing anybody in the last couple episodes? Was she not? Is she taking the medicine? Is she not? Like she just turned into a boss in one episode.
She doesn't seem like she's been. She seems like she's been playing some possum.
Exactly. That's what's like. You go from crazy to a boss in one episode. And
I feel like she is taking the medicine.
I just want to know what's going on.
You think so?
Yeah, that's the only reason I feel like she would switch like that.
I see, but I got the feeling that this has been a long time coming.
Really? You think she was acting crazy? I think she was actually
Bruce
crazy.
Springsteen song, long time coming.
Oh, right in the booth. No, because the daughter was really appearing to her.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe there's something there.
Because Abby saw her.
Abby saw her too.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that's when I don't think she was acting there when she saw her. Like I believe that was actually her and her going crazy and everything. So that's why I don't think it's like. Mm-hmm. She's like all of a sudden like that, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be like not crazy. Like I feel like it was a medicine that would make her do that.
You
like,
think
medication.
she's on the medicine and it made her smart? Okay.
But we'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay, well, you were right about your last prediction, so we'll see. I'm going to go in the camp that she has not been
right
taking
about
the meds.
A lot. We can go back and.
However, there's also always the possibility that they might have had to take out information that, for some reason, that we're never going to see again.
Maybe because they see my predictions, they're like, we need to make her look good, so let's put things in. So she's right. Just kidding.
That's right. They're still making changes. So let's talk about a little bit of news related to the show. It was just announced today that. Thank you for that, Ryan. It was announced today that the HBO streaming package is going to be called HBO Max. And these are some of the things we know so far. So we know it's going to have a lot of classic shows, Friends, things like this. A lot of the HBO back catalog, Sopranos, Game of Thrones. Seems like some HBO shows like Insecure are going to live on there. It's unclear as to whether you're going to still need a separate subscription for main HBO, right? Like for your new Prime shows,
for like Euphoria and like all the current ones that are happening right now.
Succession, any of that's the new. But then also, I also heard mentioned that the Game of Thrones prequel could end up on the Max. So I don't know.
That's weird how they would change a different app. So there's so many questions.
And like I feel like if you're paying for HBO like on TV, like the whole thing, you should get that for free.
Definitely.
Like, or maybe it'll be a package. Yeah, maybe it'll be like a broader package. We did hear that they said, and this is all even more confusing, that Warner Brothers said that DC Universe is not going to be affected. And yet when you see the HBO Max trailer, you can see the Doom Patrol logo.
Yep. And we already know that Titan is already are done with production or in production of season 2.
And which is supposed to be on DC Universe.
Yeah. So like where is it gonna land?
I feel like it might be on both. They might have it both on DC Universe and HBO Max, maybe to increase viewership. Maybe people who, you know, maybe they're not that big DC fans. They might not spend money on DC Universe. If they just happen to have HBO Max, they might give it a shot because it's there.
I think you have a good point, Anais. I think you might be right.
I might be right again.
Because I think on DC Universe, you're still going to be getting, you know, maybe the DC Daily, but also all the comics. Mm-hmm. And it would be weird to put a bunch of comics like just right into the mainframe of the HBO. So maybe it's also that thing where if you have DC Universe, you're going to get a package price. I think a lot of these are going to be built into different forms of packages.
Because like DC Universe is more for like the hardcore DC fans and not, you know, everyone is a hardcore DC fan. So that some people might just be casual, you know, they might watch a superhero thing once in a while, but if they might have HBO and they might just see it. And,
so this is like the total opposite of ESPN Plus then. Because ESPN Plus is like all inclusive and this is like going to be separate. I don't know if it's going to be confusing though.
I might be totally wrong though. It might all be there. It might all be in the HBO box.
If you add a new app, so that's what HBO Go, HBO Max, like DC, like there's so many. I feel like
you're right.
You can't have that many different.
And then isn't Disney and Marvel having their own
Disney Plus is starting in November, and that's going to have also Disney is going to be able to put a lot of the Fox content on Hulu and also Disney Plus. So it's like all the big conglomerates are kind of taking their ball and they're going to their corner.
They're all
and they're
competing. They want they don't want like Netflix to have everything. Netflix or Hulu, they're like, no, we're starting our own.
So the last question I want to ask about this, and to be fair, we are pre-taping this show, so in the next couple of days, more information might come out about HBO Max. So
let me know in the comments if I'm right.
But we can see right there, you got content from TNT, TBS. True TV,
Cartoon Network. Woo.
Yeah, guys, we got Warner Brothers, TBS, CNN, Boomerang, Cartoon Network, HBO, DC is on there, as well as New Line Cinema, True TV, TNT, and
Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Well, that's my bad.
We are hearing that the CW shows are going to be on there, but apparently they're not going to go to the streaming app as quickly as they went to Netflix. So what I'm hearing is that, like, let's say Batwoman, for example, is not going to be on the HBO Max until a few weeks before it appeared, like the second season debuts or something like that.
Is that a way to continue driving people to their
I think so.
Channels and stuff? They're not giving up on the exactly.
Yeah, okay. Like the CW app and everything.
Last question on this. What do you guys think this does for the chances of the Snyder Cut?
I don't know.
I heard you really want it. Are you giving up hope because
No,
you don't
I'm
want
not
to get
giving
hurt
up
anymore?
hope. I just, it would be cool if it got released there, but I don't know. Like,
You don't have much hope for
I
it.
don't.
See,
No, I would like for it to be released, but I don't have like any like inside info or whatever.
Oh no, I know you don't have inside info, but
Yeah.
but you have hope.
Yeah, I have hope.
well, that sounded like there was a lot of optimism in there.
I
I don't know
I'm
what
not
else
sure.
to say. I'm just hopeful. That's it.
But you
know?
don't expect it.
I mean, because I haven't heard anything yet, so that's why I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I hope it does.
So
But
because
I just haven't heard
I
anything.
ask you because you've made a lot of predictions on this episode, and this seems like a prediction you're coy about making. Like you don't want to make
because
any predictions.
I'm smart, because if I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything.
It's just like, look, I've been right about a lot of things, and like I'm not gonna risk that win streak
Yeah,
right here.
exactly.
Okay.
I definitely see it happening though. I mean,
You think so?
I think
feel-
he's doing too much teasing. Even if it's like releasing it separate away from like DC, I see it happening somehow.
I feel like if it does, okay, this is what I do think. I feel like if it does get released, it's not gonna be for a while. Like, might be a few more years.
I could buy that. Okay, I lied. Last question about this thing. Does it do anything for the potential of Swamp Thing season 2?
See, I'm optimistic about that because you do see DC is in there. It's a big part of it. And once, like, Swamp Thing has been great, continuously been getting better and better from us as viewers, from the comments and everything. So there's viewership is there. The actors, when we had Maria Stern on, and she was talking about it, like, there's a lot of, the community is there. So I'm hoping that hashtag Save Swamp Things, Save Swamp Thing.
I feel like maybe that's gonna, the whole, the whole Save Swamp Thing movement or whatever.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Might, I guess, gain more steam once it's over, because once the season's over and they're like, wow, this was amazing, they might, it's gonna ramp up.
Well, I heard the news about they might be going to the movie with the Swamp Thing. There was talk about a potential Swamp Thing movie.
That's just so weird. I feel like that doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's like, oh, we don't really believe in our show, but we're gonna spend all this money to make a movie. Like,
Well,
just
or
keep
maybe
on going with the show.
or maybe they were really happy with the direction and they decided that they wanted to put it into like a New Line franchise or something. It seems like you can make a great horror franchise out of this and make a lot of money with it.
Definitely, but there's so many storylines that they already teased in this
know.
one. Like, how are you
just
how are
keep
you
it
gonna
going.
How are you gonna put that in 2 hours? I don't want to see that in 2 hours. I want to see that. I want to see that develop over series.
I
over
totally
seasons.
agree because it's not.
I feel like it's gonna seem so rushed. If
Yeah. I don't know.
do it.
Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Is there any hope? Warner Brothers seems pretty adamant that it's definitely canceled. The talk of a movie is still in early days, and it's just rumors. We'll watch it as it comes, and maybe we'll get more answers before we finish. Before we go, let's talk about predictions.
So, there it is.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Every time I hear that, I think it's October. I'm thinking Halloween.
Yeah, I know, me too.
But this is great. It matches Swamp Thing. But yeah, so we talked about it earlier with the sheriff. I think with Avery. I think he's gonna come back, and I think he's gonna go after the sheriff first. I think she's not gonna make it within the next 3 episodes. That's
The sheriff?
Yeah, I think Avery's going for the sheriff first because he doesn't even know that Maria's in on it. So he's not going for her yet, and I don't see him killing his own quote unquote son. So we'll see. I'm going with Avery killing the sheriff before episode 10.
I do see him killing his own son, because Avery only cares about himself, and he only does what's convenient for him. So I don't think he really cares about Matt. Like I said, if you really cared about him being your son, you would have tried to be his dad. Okay, And I do feel like, I do agree that he might, like Lucilia is probably not gonna make, because she's, like I said, sloppy. Like, it's gonna come back and bite her in the butt. And yeah, she's not gonna make it. And I feel like he's gonna kill a couple more people that get in his way, because Avery's that's just the kind of guy he is, He's
just about to slaughter a bunch of people.
Anyone in my way. And Liz, she's gonna find out more information about Avery. I'm just always scared that she's gonna get killed for some reason, because she's so good at figuring things out. Like, she's awesome at her job. Lucilia, but and I feel like because.
She's so good at her job.
He almost, tried to kill her, a few episodes back. So I feel like she's in danger too, just because she's really good at her job.
Well, I think we're going to see Avery become Seth or Seti, which is the opposite of Swamp Thing. He's like a creature that is, whereas the Swamp Thing is the guardian of the green, Seti, or it's like Sethe, I've never heard it said out loud, is like the champion of the rot, and he brings death and decay. So I feel like you said a Joker thing, and I think he's going to become an opposite of Swamp Thing, and I'm hoping that leads us into
that could happen, because he was there in the swamp at the end of this episode.
He had the veins and stuff was going. I think he looked like he was freaking out for sure. Thing is, he's coming out as a monster dude.
He jumped, or he didn't jump. Well, yeah, he jumped into
Ryan, if you could find
a
picture of a Sethe Swamp Thing villain and put it up, you'd be a hero. What were you saying?
Yeah, so you see him jump into the pond, into the swamp, trying to evade the more gunshots. But he does take at least one gunshot. That means he's injured in the swamp. Last time we saw someone injured in the swamp, comes Swamp Thing.
And who saved him?
Exactly.
The Green.
Yep.
The Green saved him, and the Rot is claiming this dude.
So
it's the total opposite classic villain.
Yeah. I feel like your prediction is happening next episode.
Oh, yeah?
Be right.
I won you guys over?
Oh, 100%.
I got one.
100%.
I don't know. I think that's the name they're
Is
going
that
to use. Oh, yes.
Wow.
There's a few different interpretations of him, but yeah, he's a nasty-looking monster. I don't know if he'll look exactly like he looks in the comics, but he's going to come back as some kind of monster.
That would be interesting. That's probably why they went over budget with that one.
Yeah.
It was like trying to make that into reality.
Well, guys, why don't you let the people out there know where they can find you? Anais?
Hi, you guys can find me on Instagram at morethanyouthinkseven.
And if you guys like any other superhero shows, you guys can find me on the Legion After Show, as well as the Young Justice.
Oh yeah, we're on Young Justice Outsiders too.
Yes, me and Anais.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're rolling. We got 3 episodes.
I gotta say, I'm loving Legion this season too.
So
that first episode was one of the best episodes of anything in a long time.
Yeah, and I was about to say, and it reminds me just like artistically of Euphoria. And I'm on the Euphoria after show with that.
And that is the show I'm loving now too. Euphoria and Legion are two of the best shows on television right now.
And you can catch me on both those after shows and at JeffWill_Jr.
I'm Adam Gertler. You can find me at Adam Gertler, and I'm also hosting DC Movie News for our sister network, Popcorn Talk. That'll be Friday at 1 p.m. And we'll see you next week as we talk about episode 8 of The Swamp Thing.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.